Hi everybody, welcome to our new series, and in this series it is titled as What's Up World?
What's up, world?
Alright, in this new series what we will discuss is that what's happening in this world, where we will be looking at all the news that's happening on our daily life, and of course we will be adding on a little bit, which is what is the personal take. And of course we have our registered counselor Rebecca here.
Hi.
Yeah, that will be giving in some input, especially on the mental awareness side, where we would like to build up your mental stamina, and of course to encourage everybody to have a better mind fitness.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting podcast series. Yeah, but since we're on the topic of mental awareness, and the news is really just something that is very close to our hearts, you know. At the same time, we also need to learn how to build stamina, how to rest. And I heard that you went to Krabi a couple of days ago. So how was that?
It was amazing. It was like so calming, especially at the sea and snorkeling.
Away from the crowd.
Yes, away from city especially. Yeah, I think I love beach holidays. Yeah, so it was a great rest, and especially, you know, after half of the year, marking half of the year, and then now going for a retreat trip, and calming down, and did some self-reflection for the next half of the year. Yeah.
It sounds like you have recalibrated, you know, so that you kind of have some form of direction of what you wanted to do the next couple of months.
Yes. And I think it is like highly recommended for people to like take some time, especially on a quarterly basis or on a, you know, half of the year basis, to think about what have they done and what to do next. I totally recommend it.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that it can be quite stressful, you know, looking at all these things and trying to figure out what's happening as well.
Yes.
Maybe we can just look at what's happening around the world.
Correct, yes. So, you know, it's a good point that you brought up about my Krabi trip, especially, you know, taking off from work. And the irony is that we're gonna be discussing about work-life balance.
Yes.
So we have a few newses here in our jar. So I think this is our, what do you call, branding? We will be having jars in this series. Yes.
Yeah, it's honestly just for aesthetic purposes. No other intention.
All right. So maybe Rebecca, please do the honors.
Oh, okay. I have very bad luck. So
No.
luckily it's not
All
like a
the
lucky
newses
draw or
are
something.
Good ones.
Good ones. If
Long
you say
one.
so. If you say so.
I think this is the longest one. It's okay. Okay, so let me just read it out for you. So this is from the Ink magazine, and if I'm not mistaken, the title is something about happiness should be essential in our work life.
Very nice.
Yes, a great start. So in this article, it shares this point, which is learning how to find a balance in life between the stresses and pressures of work and life outside of work is hard. This is because we spend most of our time at work, which I totally agree. And there is an interesting point in this particular article, which is happy employees are loyal employees, and loyal employees can do amazing things. So important lessons that many leading companies that have learned is that encouraging and fostering a work environment that is fun and inspires employees to take joy in their work. So basically, this is what many companies have been doing, especially the industry leaders like Google, Apple, and software analytics giants. And I think they've mentioned like about 8 to 12 points of why this is important or why employees should be happy. That's because a few of it will be people like to work with happy people, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Happiness inspires creativity, and happy employees are not afraid to make mistakes. And reducing stress eventually increases productivity. So now, Rebecca.
Yes.
So, maybe you can let us know what is your perspective on this, especially on the happy employees are loyal employees and loyal employees can do amazing things.
It must be very interesting for you to say that while your boss is just behind the camera.
Of course.
I think it's a very simple equation. So it's very similar to what we always say that a happy person will have a happy life. You know,
Yeah.
happy wife, happy marriage. You know, that kind of thing. So it's really knowing that. It's not to say that you have to make sure that you cater to every single thing that your employees want. But it's creating a space where your employee feels fulfilled, contented in some ways. So it's understanding motivations, why you're doing this in the first place, your company, why is it built, why do you need talent to help you, and how to actually empower them to catch the vision that you have, and at the same time motivate them to become better in the skills that they have. So when you create this kind of space, it really helps employees to see, oh, actually I'm very appreciated and valued for the things that I do. I'm going to work harder. Then it becomes happiness. Then they will stay longer with the company. And then naturally the company will grow along as the employee grows. Yeah, but of course it's something that is a bit, I would say a bit challenging, especially for large companies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's something that we would need to see how we can actually balance it. Yeah.
So like what you mentioned, looking at why the employees have joined the company and also their motivation
Yeah.
and all these things. But with a larger team, it would be many types of motivation.
Correct.
Yeah, many types of things that would make them happy. So what is your idea or what is your 2 cents on making sure everybody will be at the gray area?
The leader needs to know what they stand for. As simple as that. Because the leader, if let's say you are leading a multinational company with thousands of employees under you, you can't be interviewing every single person and ask them, why did you come for this job? But you can select good leaders to be under you that sees the same vision that you have and instill the same values down. So it's in a way top down, but at the same time lateral, if you get what I mean. Yeah, so actually finding partners in crime that sees the same vision as you do. But before that can happen, you need to know why you built this company. You need to know why what you stand for as a leader. If your goal is to empower people, then make sure that your leaders under you are empowered, and then they will do the same as well.
Understand. That's a very nice way to put it. So let's go for the next one.
Okay.
What if got sound effect? Is it nicer? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to choose the longest one again, because that's just how my luck is.
I think so because it's stapled. Okay. Moving on to number 2. All right. So this is prioritize mental health at workplace for enhanced productivity.
Right.
So in the previous one, we also mentioned one of the things with happy employees is that productivity will increase. So I guess this is like an add-on.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. See, you have great luck.
Just today.
Okay, so this particular article is from New Straits Times. So it is mentioned the Alliance for a Safe Community chairman Tan Sri Lee Tham Thai prioritized mental health at work to enhance productivity. So it is mentioned employees should be provided with more opportunities for mental health awareness and education to better cope with work stress and psychosocial problems. Programs or activities promoting mental health at workplace should aim to create a mentally and physically healthier workforce, which is more positive and productive, he said. So he highlighted that neglecting mental health and psychosocial factors in the workplace not only harms the individual workers, but also affects, once again, the productivity, efficiency, and output of the enterprise.
Right.
So I think one more, this is quite of a interesting fact. So he mentioned, or in this article, it was mentioned employee performance, frequent illness, absenteeism, accidents, and staff turnover
Yeah.
are all influenced by employees' mental health status. So I am more drawn to the last part where many companies they look into like why are the people always sick? They always take sick leave. And why are they always taking MCs, absent, and the turnover is very high. So it's just so interesting that he mentioned this could be all due to the mental health status. So what's your perspective on that?
Well, it's all a mental game in a way. What companies usually do, please do not quote me, that when they see that there's a series of sick leaves, the first assumption is this person is irresponsible.
Yeah.
You know, they are taking emergency leave for no reason and all that. But if you take a step back and actually exercise just a little bit of empathy and ask why, you might get more answers to the question, then you will know what to do with these employees. I give you an example. So there are some people who genuinely they fall sick all the time.
Yeah.
So they really they really need to go for medical checkup, that kind of thing, more frequently. For those cases, it's just understanding how can you manage their stress levels if that is something that is aggravating it. There are some cases where perhaps the person doesn't feel motivated to come to work. Then it's also understanding why. Because if they feel demotivated, they might show very depression-like symptoms, but not necessarily depression. Like for example, it's very hard to get out of bed. Especially on Monday mornings, you might have something called a revenge bedtime procrastination, where you're just scrolling on your phone the night before, refusing to sleep because you don't want to, wake up to the next day and go through the routine, stuff like that. And that also affects performance. And when you do that, your health also deteriorates because you're not getting enough sleep. And you're not eating properly, and it will affect physical health as well. So it's also understanding maybe you need to create a conducive environment where the employee actually feels motivated. Then some companies might ask, like, what if it's a character problem? Which is also something that should be considered as well, where maybe this person is very used to escaping responsibility, perhaps, or they feel like since I am entitled to certain sick leaves, I'm just going to take it without any apology. Those, perhaps it's coming back to also understanding why the person does that and take necessary action. Yeah, so, but all of these, they have one thing in common where it's really a mental thing. Okay. Yeah, if the person has already tapped out from the job, naturally it shows.
Okay, understand. And I think here it was also mentioned that employees, they should be provided with opportunities on mental health awareness and education. So maybe you can let us know what type of education that companies should come up with for their employees.
First, companies need to believe in taking care of mental health first. Because one thing that I notice about these kind of talks these days is that, mental health is such a big thing. So I'm just going to jump on the bandwagon and do what everybody is doing. Yeah. But they don't really believe in it. So what they do is they would do very minimal things like have mental health workshops like once every quarter and then just assume that everything's going to be okay. So the first thing any company or any leader of a company should do is really understanding how mental health is very related to work performance and employee well-being. So with that, there are some things that you can do. At the top of my mind is workshops. It could be coaching sessions that you can have with your employees. It's also you can have self-awareness classes, stuff like that. But these days, there is something that is pretty popular. We call it an employee assistance program, where people, companies actually hire mental health centers and institutions to have this kind of program where your employees get unlimited access to one-to-one counseling, coaching, and it's a various kind of help lah. It could be a fitness coach as well. And what they do is when they feel very stressed or anything like that, employees have access to help like that. Yeah. And then it will be on the company's dime lah. Yeah, but that helps because at least the employees know, oh, okay, this is what my employer stands for and is willing to give me help.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. All right, so moving on to the third topic.
Try to get one that doesn't have a staple.
No, I think both doesn't have. So
Okay.
you are pretty lucky. All right, so this is our third one. This is about days off from work for mental health reasons, and it should be a norm. So this particular article is from the Star, Malaysian Mental Health Association president, as well as the consultant psychiatrist, Dato Dr. Andrew Mohanraj, said giving mental health days off would benefit both the employees as well as the employers. So the employee who comes back to work recharged and healthier can contribute towards increased productivity. This also helps prevent potential burnout, particularly in high-performing individuals.
Right.
Yeah, this is why I went for Krabi trip. So, but with positive mental health, people are more likely to work productively, interact well with colleagues, and find it easier to adapt to change. Staff who are supported by their employer are also likely to be able to stay in work. So the question for you is that how can we promote a healthier work-life balance where we can prioritize mental health, mental well-being within the corporate culture?
This is, I don't know whether it's something that a company can foster because I am on the board of work-life balance is different for everyone.
Yes.
So last time people think that work-life balance means that you go for a 9 to 6 job and then after that the time is yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are some people who like working.
Yes.
You know, then they don't mind putting in the hours 10 to 12. And if you force them into this kind of system, it's difficult because they won't feel very productive. They won't feel as fulfilled in their work. So companies, I guess, can foster in a sense where it's learning to really take note of your employees' pattern of rest, if that makes sense. Yeah, like there are some people who they grind, and then they never take off.
Yeah.
It's perhaps a manager's kind responsibility and be like, I'm forcing you to take 5 days off. So you're just going to go on a trip, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. But it's also speaking to people who have been taking too many days off and be like, what's up? You know, like, is there anything that I can help? Yeah, maybe that kind of culture might be helpful. So I wouldn't say necessarily we need mental health days off per se, but we can be more flexible in the way we see how employees take time off. Yeah,
I think that's somewhat of how the work culture has become, both in like startup as well as many MNCs as well, especially with the work from home. Yeah, so I think after the pandemic, many people are used to or love the concept of work from home. So I think it has become a norm that you can work from home a few days, but you still need to be present at work. So I think it's a similar concept, but this is on the working time and the off time, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Yes. Last one.
Can I like do this?
Can I?
No, I can't.
It's a trick. It's a trick. Okay. Last one. Let's go. All right. So cute. This particular article's title: "Don't worry, stress-free."
Oh, I thought, don't worry, be happy.
All right. So this particular article is taken from New Straits Times. So it was mentioned organizational heads who can effectively manage the fear of uncertainty into opportunities for learning and growth in their employees will experience a reduced attrition rates and can expect higher productivity.
Right.
So basically this comes from employees being uncertain and how the organizational heads can take leverage of that. So he said, remember, to worry isn't preparing you for anything. The economic climate in Malaysia is unpredictable. All the indicators suggest things will get worse before they can get any better. At workplace, the situation will be tough. Often when there is economic instability, people worry. This undermines their performance and their well-being. So the reality is that no organization is stress-free.
Right.
But companies and leaders who have developed the ability to convert the fear of uncertainty into opportunities for learning as well as growth, cultivate the team members to perform better. Organizational heads who can effectively manage the fear of uncertainty in their employees will experience the reduced attrition rates and expect higher productivity. So I guess this particular article is talking about what's happening in the world where everybody is talking about inflation and how the economic will go down and all these things. So this is basically employees' perspective,
Right.
how employees are taking in, and obviously worry is there. But how can the organizational heads, or more like the managers, can help the employees to feel more empowered and can be more resilient to this? Yeah.
Transparency helps. I think perhaps some companies out there, they don't really tell their employees what's actually going on in the company and where they stand economically. And withholding information like that sometimes does more harm than good. Because your employees are left in the dark and they might be grinding towards something that they are not sure what's going to happen. Then it creates more fear of uncertainty and then you leave. So it's like a very self-fulfilling prophecy in that sense. So I'm not saying that you need to create a presentation and just show your whole company's like financial books, but it's just being very real with your employees, whether you're doing well or not. If you're not doing well, just tell them, like, hey, the company's not doing too good. We only have options A, B, C. So you can either choose to stay with us and we weather out the storm together, or you can find other opportunities out there. Yeah, but the door is always open for you to stay. Yeah, so it's really nothing personal because employees are also people who need to cari makan. They need to find their livelihood as well. Yeah, so it's building this kind of respect. It helps a lot. Then the employees can be like, okay, there's one certainty in my life in this economy that I might potentially have or not have my job. Then they can decide what they want to do next. Yeah, but for those that decide to stay, is really telling them that the company will do what we can to support yourself and at the same time keep the company afloat. But we need to look forward. So not looking at what's happening in the present, but learning to plan ahead together. Yeah.
I think that basically cultivate the togetherness,
Correct.
the teamwork, as well as trust
Yeah.
between the employer
Yeah.
and employees.
Correct.
All right, so that will be the wrap up for our What's Up World series. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Right now, many people are looking for work-life balance when choosing a career to have a fulfilling and happy life. In Nespace, we are a gym for mind that empower your mental fitness to excel in your career. Join our classes to learn from industry expert, career coaches, clinical psychologists, and registered counselors that give insight on the career tips, career growth, salary, and self-growth. Check out at Nespace today. Attend our classes for a career blowout.